Previously on Fight Your Rival.
If it was up to me, I'd take you back in time and play another old school retro game and show the fans out there where possibly one of their most favorite franchises and they never got to play the original, where it came from, so they know where their roots are in the game.
Are you saying we're gonna go back to the 90s?
Of course. What else would I be saying?
Dude, check it out. Brand new issue of X-Force with Deadpool on the cover. So sick. They gotta put him in a fighting game.
I don't think so. If they put him in a fighting game, I wouldn't think he'd be so high tier.
I mean, come to think of it, this artwork is ass. Looks like Duty. Wait, are we?
Mm-hmm. We're back.
We're back in the 90s?
Back in the 90s.
How would you do such a thing?
Because I want the dreads again.
But I have so much to do in 2012. Like getting bodied.
You'll get bodied in the future in 2012, don't worry. But first, I brought you back here for a very special reason. When you get back in the future, you could get bodied in Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Don't forget, it comes out on the 11th of September in the future. If you don't remember where Tekken Tag Tournament 2 all started and originated from, I brought you all the way back here so we could talk about the entire franchise, starting with the first one.
Tekken.
Or some people like to call it Tekken.
Tekken 1 was released in arcades in 1994 and on the PlayStation 1 in 1995. The game introduced a lot of the iconic characters that you guys know and love today, such as Kazuya, Law, Nina, Paul, and Jack.
And let's not forget the intro to the game as well.
Oh god.
The intro was what really made the game, in my opinion. That's where you see Paul on the motorcycle, you see Nina running away with no shoes on.
You learn Kazuya's hatred of candles.
Yes.
You know, he loves electricity, hence his fists.
Exactly.
So the gameplay in the original Tekken was super slow. Had a really awkward versus screen.
Yeah. Very plain. Very plain.
No portraits, just names. Right to the point. That's how it was in the 90s.
Yep.
Pretty interesting was the camera select.
Yes.
In the home version. You can actually have your standard horizontal view or actually kind of an overhead view where you see more of the ground. Pretty interesting for an ancient game. Perhaps the most awkward part of the game is the lack of music.
I don't know if my version's broken or if there was no music, but there was no music.
Yeah, not in what we were playing. And just those never-ending stages
Never-ending.
the grounds, the levels were 3D and the backgrounds were static, so it just made for some really funny camera angles. This is what started it all.
Since the first Tekken was such a success, obviously they were going to make a sequel. Tekken 2 came out in 1995 for the arcade and 1996 for the PlayStation 1. Tekken 2 introduced a lot of new characters. Alex, Bayek, Bruce, Lei Wulong, and Jun Kazama, who's obviously Jin Kazama's mother.
The game was definitely, at the time, much better looking than Tekken 1.
Yes.
Much smoother. Lots of fan favorites popped up in the character choice. A lot of those characters didn't come back till way later in the franchise, which we'll definitely get to.
For me personally, Tekken 2 was my favorite one out of all of them. I used to play it nonstop for hours, and it was that opening intro of Heihachi climbing up from getting thrown off a mountain in the rain, ready to fight Kazuya once again. That's where you really see that father and son really hate each other, and Heihachi got his revenge at the end by throwing Kazuya into the lava, handling his business.
Just the beginning of a whole series of family hatred. It certainly leaked into Tekken 3, which released 97 for the arcade, 98 for the PlayStation. I think we're noticing a pattern here. A whole bunch of new characters were introduced in this game. This game is kind of, we would call it the third strike of the Tekken franchise.
Yeah, definitely the Street Fighter 3 of Tekken.
Yeah, a really youthful new generation of characters. Lots of children or students of existing characters. Of course, the most iconic being Jin Kazama, Ling Xiaoyu, Haorong, Eddie Gordo. I consider this really one of the defining Tekkens. This is one of the first ones that was really played competitively and stayed really popular. Even with Street Fighter Cross Tekken just coming out, I feel like the Tekken side of that game is really influenced by Tekken 3.
Definitely. I mean, they used the Yoshimitsu from Tekken 3 in Cross Tekken.
Tekken 3 set the groundwork for Tekken Tag Tournament.
Yeah, and that was the first game actually to come out on the PS2. It was originally released in '99 for the arcades and made its way to the PS2 on 2000. Pretty much was Tekken 3, but all the characters from the entire franchise up to that point. And the new feature they added was tagging in and out, tag mode.
And it was a really interesting tag mode because you really had to watch your life bars. It wasn't you play until your team's dead. The first character that dies, game's over. That itself carried over to Street Fighter Cross Tekken. So just the tag system alone, tag canceling, things like that really just opened up a whole new layer of strategy to the Tekken franchise. And it was just such great fan service to really just throw in the kitchen sink. It's one of the first fighting games with like a truly massive roster.
Yes.
Which is really, really awesome.
The cool thing about Tekken Tag was if you pick character-specific teams, they would do specific things. Like Nina and Anna would have something together if you pick them, and you see them in the intros. It showed rivalries within the games themselves, which I really liked.
That's something I'm really looking forward to in Tag 2. Something I'm going to be playing with a lot. After Tekken Tag Tournament came kind of the black sheep of the series. Tekken 4 came out 2001 arcades, 2002 PlayStation 2. Introduced a lot of new elements, kind of a big twist for the Tekken franchise.
Yeah, definitely. The backgrounds didn't seem endless forever. They actually felt like legitimate backgrounds. You could walk around them, you know, you could sidestep, and the sidestep really felt more like a sidestep in the game. It really had a very 3D element to it.
There was the all-new push mechanic and stance switch, which really encouraged you to take advantage of the environments. Almost, you could say the game was maybe even influenced by Dead or Alive a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it was the first Tekken to really have stages at different heights and wall combos. A lot of things that now are Tekken staples actually started in Tekken 4. And a lot of key characters started in this game.
Christy Montero, Craig Marduk, and Steve Fox were all introduced in this. And Steve Fox is one of my personal favorites right now, so thanks Tekken 4 for bringing him in.
And definitely, as polarizing as Tekken 4 was, you know, as Natal said, I think it really introduced some of the most fan-favorite characters. And it marked the return of Kazuya, which was huge. Took a little break in Tekken 3 because, you know, he was dead.
He was dead, yeah. He actually drew him into a lava pit, called it a day.
But he's a Mishima, and we all know Mishimas don't die. So he made his grand return. As a Jin fan, I was a little upset with 4 because of the storyline. They completely changed his moves. You know, he hated his father Kazuya. He wanted to completely unlearn everything. So they changed him up and gave him a sweet new jumpsuit. But looking back, the game was actually a bit of fun. It was actually pretty cool.
So Tekken 4 was around for about 2 years until Tekken 5 came out in 2004 for the arcades and 2005 for PS2. This one introduced a whole nother set of characters, which are also some of the staples now in the series. You have Asuka, Devil Jin, Feng Wei, Hihachi's father, and everyone else's great-grandfather, Jinpachi, and of course everyone's favorite ninja, Raven.
Yeah, definitely never enough Mishimas,
never
enough ninjas, so Tekken 5 took advantage of both these things.
The Tekken 5 intro is probably my second favorite intro of the Tekken series, with whole Kazuya and Hihachi back-to-back, you know, fighting a bunch of jacks and Hihachi blowing up and dying, or quote-unquote dying in the games. Really got you ready, except for the song. The song is awful.
And some of the prettiest stages in the franchise,
too. Definitely had some of the prettiest stages ever, like the Moonlit Wilderness stage with the flowers, you know, and the pollen in the air, and if your character had allergies, you would sneeze, which didn't really happen. I just threw that in there. That'd be cool.
One day. Next gen.
Next gen.
Next gen will have that. So the hype for Tekken 5 didn't die down with just the vanilla version. It was actually an expansion called Dark Resurrection, which I believe was an arcade revision that made its way to PS3.
Yeah, it originally came out on PSP, and then they released it on the PlayStation Network as a separate game.
Yeah, and it's pretty significant because it's the first online Tekken ever.
And it also introduces Lily and Dragunov.
Yeah, who are two super popular characters today, so definitely a big leap forward, adding online to the franchise for the first time.
So after Dark Resurrection, Tekken 6 came out in 2007, 2008 in the arcades, 2009 for the PS3 and the 360, which marks the first Tekken game to actually come out on another console besides a Sony-only console.
Yeah. Pretty big deal.
A bunch of new characters were released in this one, which are also iconic, like Zafina, Leo, Miguel, Bob, Alyssa, and Lars.
This is definitely the biggest Tekken roster to date.
Yeah.
Tekken's always had a single player mode since 3, like a beat 'em up mode, but this one took it a little bit further by adding really cool cinematics and just having basically almost like a mini RPG.
One of my favorite things about playing that was getting all the money to customize your characters, which I think was done very well in Tekken 6, and it's coming back in Tekken Tag 2, and I can't wait to customize my characters like I did in Tekken 6.
Yeah, as much as I want to get good at Tag 2, I feel like I'll be spending more time making sure my characters look awesome.
Oh yeah, they have to, of course.
Yeah, can't fight without looking good.
No.
So Tekken 6, to this date, is pretty much keeping the Tekken scene going. It's still played competitively at tournaments, even if it's a small side tournament. The game's definitely still out there at a lot of venues, and it laid the groundwork for what we're about to have in our hands. Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
Tekken Tag Tournament 2 has been out in arcades for, I'd say, about a year. It's gone through a whole bunch of revisions, which is awesome because the console version will come with all those revisions. So no buying a game and having to buy an arcade edition.
Yes. Or Ultimate Edition.
Yeah. Much like its predecessor, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is pretty much the kitchen sink of Tekken.
Yes.
Every character you could think of, you know, obviously tag fighting is back. It's going to have a slew of console exclusive features, a really cool training mode, team specific moves, team specific combos, and I think it's really going to reignite just the whole Tekken scene as a whole and really put Tekken back in the forefront.
It seems like they're running a pattern that after every 3 they make a tag, like a KOF from 94 to 98, like a dream match for the fans out there. This could also count almost as Tekken 7 since it has the option of 1v1.
Graphically the game looks beautiful, and with all the mechanics it really is going to be a brand new game. I'm just excited for things like, you know, being able to put Jin and Jun Kazama together, mother and son.
Yes.
You know, wouldn't work in the storyline because Jun's not alive. Like I said, I think this is really going to take the FGC by storm. We're excited to play it, be playing a lot of it.
Yeah. So on the heels of the game coming out, Mad Catz finally released screenshots of their fight stick for Tekken Tag Tournament 2, and it looks incredible. They have a whole bunch of upgrades to the stick. They added rubber on the bottom of the stick so it wouldn't slide off your lap anymore in the mid of playing, which is pretty epic. The artwork on the top is fantastic. It's a shattered plate right where the ball top is, where your arcade stick is. It looks like it just shattered right through the glass. The PS3 and 360 ones have a different look to them.
I love it. 360 actually has a green outline around the stick, and the PS3 has a blue one. And what's cool, as a 360 owner, I'm a little jealous. The PS3 buttons and ball top are based on the retro Namco sticks, where the 5 main buttons are yellow, and so is the ball top. The 360 one still is gorgeous. It just uses the standard 4 Xbox colored buttons.
Yeah.
The stick is really made with modders in mind because it has a really easily removable faceplate. It actually comes with a hex tool.
Really?
So they're really encouraging you to switch out your faceplates. And in addition to the shattered glass design that it comes with, you also get kind of like a femme fatales artwork you could put on it, which features the main Tekken girls on it.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, really beautifully drawn art. And lastly, if you're as into Tekken Tag 2 as we are, and if you're as excited as we are, and you're in the New York City area like we are, definitely come out to the Village Poorhouse on Tuesday, September 11th, the release date of the game. Our friend John from Sonic Boombox Smashfest NYC is hosting a release party for the game. It's going to be really fun, really cheap drinks. You get to play Tekken Tag. It's only $3 to get in, free for ladies. It's going to be awesome. It's sponsored by Afterglow Elite. There's going to be little sweet glowy controllers to try out.
Sweet.
And if you want to have a few drinks, try out Tekken. It's definitely a place to be.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
We'll
and
definitely
we're
be
gonna
there.
come home and play the game some more. And I gotta say, I'm a little confused. I mean, we have all this information about the future, but it's only 1994.
Okay, and?
It just doesn't make sense. How do we get back?
It doesn't need to make any sense at all. You don't have to worry about that. See?
Pretty simple.
Alright, this is Natal from FightYourRival.
This is Mike from FightYourRival.
And remember, guys,
keep fighting.
keep fighting.
Wait a minute, the video's not done. Here's a quick montage of all of Yoshimitsu's outfits throughout the whole Tekken series.
You win. Huh. You win. Huh. You win. You win. Huh. You win. You win. You win.